city. And I think, there's already been so much time, effort put in by so many people that, aren't going to get credit for what they did to bring All-Star here. So, trying to make it the best All-Star the WNBA has ever had. I know we'll certainly do that, but also, it is certainly a cool honor for sure.
Have you seen your billboard that's going up on the JW?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it, yeah. It's pretty solid. Anytime you get on the JW in Indianapolis, that's a big deal.
I mean, anytime you get to be a part of it first, and I think, for me at various levels, first national championship at Purdue and the first WNBA team in Indiana and, the first WNBA championship for the Fever and now an opportunity for the first Commissioner's Cup. So I think anytime you get an opportunity to do something and be the first and be a part of the first, it's special.
Caitlin Clark just broke her 185-game iron streak, but she's not giving up. Her shocking injury update might just change everything for the Fever's championship hopes. What's the full story behind her fight to recover, and why are the stakes higher than ever with the Lynx matchup looming? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
I think just adversity in itself. Nobody said this season was going to be perfect for us. There's always going to be ups and downs, and I think as we get moving here and get to All-Star, then get through All-Star, these are the moments that we're going to look back on and hopefully be able to, give a lot of credit to for certain situations that we were put in, for, injuries or, coach it not being here for a couple games too. Everybody's been through a little bit of adversity here. So I think just giving our group credit for being able to stick together and, know that whatever's in our locker room is really all we need to go out there and win. And I'm honestly just really proud of our group every single day, come back with the same energy, same attitude and wanting to get better. So I think just, being in situations that have been, tough and responding really well every single time is what we can always fall back on. Yeah, I feel good. I'm going to be day to day from here on out and doing everything I can to put myself in a position to play the next game every single time. That's always my goal, is to be available for the next game, and doing everything I can with the medical staff to be able to get my body right, to be able to do that. And but yeah, I feel good, and just going day by day.
How important do you feel like this game is Tuesday, given the fact that this team needs to experience big time wins? Yeah. Together for the first time?
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for us. We're going to go in there, and they have a great crowd, great environment, a team that's very experienced with one another, have been in the finals, have been in big situations, won the Commissioner Cup last year. So I think it's a really great opportunity for us to go in there and see what we're made of, have a little pressure, but also just go out there and play our game. Just know that you don't have to play any different than we have been playing, and personnel will be really important, but we're certainly excited to go out there and try to play for something and get the win. Obviously I'm going to try to get my teammates on my team. Why wouldn't I? That's obviously the goal. And, once they come out with whoever has made it and whoever hasn't, I guess I get to pick and choose. I don't really know how it works. I guess I just found out 2 hours ago, but obviously my first goal will certainly be able to have my teammates on my team, so absolutely.
Caitlin Clark's streak wasn't just impressive, it was historic. For 185 straight games, dating back to high school, she was on the court, delivering the kind of performances that built her reputation as one of basketball's most durable stars. But during a tense matchup against Seattle, all of that came to a halt. The stage was set, the Fever were clawing to keep momentum, the kind of game where Clark's presence meant everything. Then it happened. She was setting up a simple inbound pass, something she's done 1,000 times, when the unexpected struck. There wasn't some dramatic collision or a bad fall, just a precision athlete making a routine move. Then came the misstep, barely noticeable at first, but followed immediately by a wince. Fans watching couldn't believe it. Clark, the unshakable, reaching for her groin with clear discomfort. The game froze for a moment. Nobody expected someone like her, who's been remarkably healthy, to go down like this. For a player known for pushing through tough moments, seeing her grimace hit differently. The impact was immediate. Clark wasn't just the Fever's leading scorer and facilitator, averaging 18.2 points and nearly 9 assists. She was their spark. This wasn't just another piece to the Fever's puzzle. She was the puzzle. Without her, they've struggled at 3-4, a stark difference from what she brings as their leader. But beyond the numbers, the team's identity felt off-kilter during her absence, especially with the high-pressure Commissioner's Cup game approaching. Groin injuries, as Coach White put it, can be unpredictable predictable. The team hasn't rushed her for good reason. It's about the long term and making sure she doesn't risk a bigger setback, White explained, underscoring how delicate her recovery process is. And Clark isn't rushing either, saying, "I feel good, but it's day to day. I'm doing everything I can to play." She knows the stakes, but there's caution in her tone. With the championship looming, the Fever now face a critical question. Can they carry the weight without her? Or does their season hinge on her return? The Commissioner's Cup is more than just another game for the Fever. Sitting at 8-8, they know this could be the moment that defines their season. A championship win not only locks in much-needed momentum, but sends a message to the league. This team isn't just scraping by, they're legitimate contenders. But with Caitlin Clark's return still uncertain, everything hangs in the balance. Can they handle the challenge without their star? Clark's absence is bigger than the 18.2 points and 8.9 assists she brings to the stat sheet. Her presence on the floor sets the tempo. She controls the pace of the game, makes the smart decisions under pressure, and rallies her teammates when things get tough. Without her, that energy feels offbeat. Players are adjusting, but her role as the engine, the decision maker, is impossible to replace completely. "It's everything," Clark said after a recent practice, talking about what this team means and how determined she is to contribute even while sidelined. That mindset has rubbed off on her teammates, who've leaned heavily on each other to push through. Coach White has been careful about managing the big picture, keeping Clark limited in practice to non-contact drills. "There's no rush. We want her ready for what's ahead," he mentioned earlier this week, staying focused on long-term health over risking additional setbacks. But without Clark driving the offense, others have stepped into the spotlight. Kelsey Mitchell, in particular, has taken on more responsibility and delivered crucial performances, proving the Fever have options. They're reworking plays, emphasizing ball movement, and showing they can still compete, even shorthanded. This game isn't a small decision for the coaching staff. With a 5-day break after the championship, there's time to let Clark recover further if they choose to sit her. But that decision comes at a cost. Can they afford even the slightest drop in their performance without her on the court? This is the ultimate gut check for the Fever. Rising to the challenge now sets the tone for their entire playoff push, but it also forces everyone to ask, is Caitlin Clark on the verge of coming back, or will this injury leave a lasting mark? Caitlin Clark's fight to recover shows exactly why she's one of basketball's most determined players. "I feel good," she said after a recent practice. "I'm gonna be day to day from here on out and doing everything that I can to put myself in a position to play the next game every single time." Her commitment is clear, but this isn't just about her. The Fever are staring down a challenge that tests their depth, resilience, and desire to win. Will they prove they can rise above adversity, or will this moment define their season? Either way, this story is far from over.